A brief idea about how the cellular components and the enzyme activity lie. This is important to understand because there are two major regions in which these enzymes reside. They are either in the mitochondria or in the endoplasmic reticulum, and you need to have an effective shuttle mechanism to shuttle these steroid metabolites. So first of all, cholesterol is pushed into the mitochondria using star. I'll talk a bit about the steroidogenic acute reactionary protein, and there are multiple enzymes which are there to act upon. You have got the 11A1 and you have got the donor, which is the adenotoxin reductase. After that, you have got the steroid is shifted back to the endoplasmic reticulum where you have the 3 beta hydroxysteroidehydrogenase and 21 hydroxylase activity, which is there along with 17 hydroxylase. So these major activities are happening at the level of endoplasmic reticulum, where your major electron donor is POR. Now, if you remember this, what it means is that POR is regulating your three major activities, predominantly 21, 17, partially 3 beta, and there is one more which is aromatase. So if you have a problem in the P450 oxidoreductase system, you will have mild salt wasting because of 21 hydroxylase deficiency. You may have DSD in both XX and XY individuals because of aromatase deficiency as well as 17 hydroxylase deficiency respectively. Now from here, it is again pushed in where you have the production of cortisol, which is then pumped out of the system. So there is a intricate pathway which regulates. The central part, of course, is the cholesterol. If you have got no cholesterol, you will not have any steroid which is being synthesized from that regards. So 11A1, B2 and B1 using the ADR pathway are predominantly in the mitochondria, while 17, 21 and 3 beta are predominantly in the endoplasmic reticulum, which becomes important. And of course, the aldosterone synthase will result in aldosterone production, and DHEAS will predominantly come from the endoplasmic reticulum system. Now, you need to understand a bit of basic chemistry as to what really is oxidation and reduction. So, what do you mean by oxidation of a particular compound?
Oxidation is the process of donating electrons,
Okay.
and reduction reactions.
So, it's all about electron donor. So, you would need, in some scenarios, something which is donating electrons, or the other scenario, you need somebody which is accepting electrons. So when a substrate is taking an electron from the donor, it is basically converting into a process in which you have a reduction process in which electron is associated with that perspective. While if it is giving the electron to a donor, it then becomes oxidation. What's important to understand is that these pathways are usually bidirectional. So if we talk about what we have been discussing a lot is 11 beta HSD1. 11 beta HSD1 is a bidirectional pathway. It can convert both cortisol to cortisone and cortisone to cortisol, depending upon the abundance of steroids. If you have too much cortisol, it will be converted to cortisone. If you have too little, cortisone will be converted to cortisol. So it's a bidirectional. So oxidoreductase activity will always be a bidirectional process depending upon the substrate activity which is there. If you have got more electron donor, you will go towards the reduction pathway. If you have got more of acceptor, you will go on the oxidation pathway. So it's not very difficult now to understand when you talk about 17 hydroxylase lyase. If you have got more electron donor, you will go the full process. You will go to the lyase producing DHEAS. This is the basic concept from that regards. Now, donor most commonly is NADPH and NADP plus will be. So these are the shuttle which happens from that regards. There are other donors as well. I talked about two in particular. POR, which is predominantly there in the endoplasmic reticulum, and ADR or adenotoxin reductase, which is there in the mitochondria. We count that perspective. So now there are two types of enzymes. One is the P450 oxidase and other is the hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase. What's the major difference between the two? And that difference has huge implications in terms of clinical manifestations. Which one has got more isoforms?
Hydroxysteroid.
So what does it mean?
It has multiple forms of it are present in different body.
Yes. So if you have deficiency in the adrenals, The liver, the placenta, the other region may actually take care of it. Classical example of that is 3 beta hydroxysteroidehydrogenase. Now, why do you have virilization in 3 beta HSD deficiency? So 3 beta HSD, this is a bit later, but we'll talk right now because 3 beta HSD means no production, no conversion of delta 5 to delta 4, pregnenolone alone to progesterone, and the whole pathway. So, but why do they virilize?
Other isoforms.
So there is a peripheral conversion because you have got these hydroxysteroidehydrogenase in the different regions. So that is a major difference. So if you go in that regards, P450 of course has a heme group. It doesn't have an isoform. It's a unidirectional. It doesn't have a, so 21 hydroxylase will convert only in one direction. It cannot go in the back direction. Example, we know 11, 21, aromatase 17. These are all hydroxydases. While HSD or hydroxysteroidehydrogenases do not contain heme group, they have got multiple isoforms which may be there in different regions, which may compensate the deficiency, which may make the disease milder, and which may have unusual presentation. So you may have DSD in both XX as well as XY individuals in 3 beta HSD. So 3 beta, 17 beta, 11 beta.